But thank you, Madam Chair, for convening this hearing. Thank you for our witnesses for being here today, particularly on very short notice. We understand that you were asked to appear before this committee in very short notice, and I associate my comments with a lot of the comments made by our chair and our ranking member about the critical importance of free, fair, democratic elections in Honduras. I also associate myself with the comments of Representative Castro. We wouldn't need a registered lobbyist before us if the Trump administration had sent their representatives, because we have some very tough questions for the Trump administration and their policy in the Western Hemisphere. And I don't diminish the importance of these critical upcoming elections in Honduras at the end of the month and the serious threats to free and fair elections, taking a page out of some of Maduro's bag of tricks, if you will, to usurp free and fair elections. These matters deserve our attention. But for me, it is unfathomable that this single topic would dominate our first hearing in over half a year. We have not met as a subcommittee in more than 6 months. During that time, the Trump administration has been carrying out unchecked actions that fall squarely within the purview of the Foreign Affairs Committee and this particular committee. The president continues to halt foreign assistance, leaving the door wide open to greater PRC influence. He's threatened Brazilian officials who convicted his friend Bolsonaro of attempting a coup. He has illegally deported immigrants to El Salvador, where they were tortured, according to a recent report by Human Rights Watch. And the Foreign Affairs Committee has remained, for the most part, silent. Congress has failed to provide the American people with any meaningful debate or discussion about these consequential actions. There has been no attempt to demand justification under our Constitution. Just as my Republican colleagues have made no real attempt to check the president's abuse of tariff authority, my Republican colleagues seem to content to let him impose tariffs as high as he chooses, on any country he chooses, for any reason he chooses. Consequences for American consumers and businesses be damned. Again and again, the GOP-led Congress is missing in action on these critical issues. But nowhere is this abdication more dangerous than in Venezuela. President Trump has usurped Congress war powers. He has unilaterally declared hostilities and launched lethal attacks without congressional authorization. The administration has provided no credible rationale to Congress or the American people for these actions. The Pentagon hasn't even provided evidence that the people they've struck are narco traffickers. Congress has made importation of illegal drugs into the United States a felony offense to be prosecuted in our courts with severe criminal penalties, and American officials are already doing that work, like the women and men of the U.S. Coast Guard and the DEA. Now, though, the administration has deployed an invasion-level force in the Caribbean, 15,000 troops, a carrier strike group, a nuclear submarine, and military aircraft, the largest military buildup in the region since the Cuban Missile Crisis, for what they claim is a counter-narcotics mission. And the president has openly threatened land strikes in Venezuela, despite his own administration assuring lawmakers that there were no such plans and that they lacked legal justification. This is a stunning escalation to the brink of war in the Western Hemisphere. The president believes he can act as judge, jury, and executioner, and no one will stop him. My colleagues across the aisle have given him no reason to think otherwise. Make no mistake, Nicolas Maduro's regime is illegitimate and undemocratic, and I am constantly inspired by Maria Corina Machado and her fight to advance democracy in Venezuela. But the history of U.S. military intervention in Latin America and the Caribbean should warn us that military action may not lead to the democratic transition the Venezuelan people desire and for which they voted peacefully in 2024. These actions put U.S. soldiers at risk. They erode our relationships across the hemisphere. Already, one of our closest allies, the United Kingdom, suspended intelligence sharing with the United States over concerns with these killings. Ranking Member Meeks has introduced a war powers resolution to halt the Trump administration's unauthorized military actions, a resolution I am proud to back. The American people do not want another forever war with loosely defined goals, fought without so much as a debate. That is not what they elected us to do, and that is not what our Constitution permits. So, Madam Chair, I appreciate this hearing. It is an important matter, but I wanted to address what I consider some incredibly constitutional threats to our democracy by the actions of Venezuela. I yield back.